Good morning. Thank you, first of all, for the invitation. I talk about you Vineyards for Heat project. Vineyards for Heat was a live project to develop from 2014 to 2017 during 3 years, but the idea is still alive today. The idea is simple. Use the pruning of the vineyard, which is generated annually in the Benelux region, to generate thermal energy in biomass boilers. First of all, I explain you about our village and our landscape. We are in the Benelux region. We are located between Barcelona and Tarragona, and we are surrounded by vineyards. Here, the biomass has traditionally been burned on the vine. Only a small part, too, has been incorporated into the soil as mulching. Benelux region, you can see the map, has approximately 25,000 hectares of vineyard. The initial situation before the project was the aim to improve this pruning vine management. The objectives are multidisciplinary, are economic, are social, and are environmental. For example, I highlight, creating new jobs in the green economy, local new jobs, achieve energy diversification in renewable energy source, also decrease energy bill, for example, for the wine and cava companies, reduce product footprint, and achieve a low carbon emissions in our land, in our territory. During the project, we try to represent all the chain, all the biomass chain. And I explain you, Covidas was the first step of the chain. Covidas is a cooperative, an agricultural cooperative, and they assure us the biomass. Also, Nowhere, a cooperative with the aim to laboral social insertion. They manage the biomass, the physical management of the biomass. They go to the vineyard and move the Italian machine, the Peruzzo Cobra Collina. You can see it in the photography. And this machine cut directly the biomass, and only we put in a space without rain to achieve low water, humidified, and later we put the biomass to the boilers. Also, Innovi participate to the project because they represent the clients, the consumers of this biomass. For example, in the live project, Cavas Villarnau, enterprise who put a boiler. You see later this. And the town hall, I'm an environmental technician in the town hall at Vilafranca del Penedès. We are the coordinators of the project. And we work about The municipal water company could be build thermal energy, not just cold water. Like other cities and other villages, like Bill, for example, in Dodge, and other examples, like this type of management of the service in the thermal energy. Now, um, we are organized a little different, and nowhere it's not participate in the chain, in the biomass chain, but the Italian machine, the Peruzzo Cobre Collina, um, is in the how you say cooperative in La Granada, in a near village 3 kilometers from Villafranca. Cooperative for the agricultures, and they management the biomass and put it to the boilers, and town hall, we are the clients. Okay, they pick up the biomass and they uh, put the biomass to our boiler. We characterize the biomass because I want to highlight 3 aspects. The calorific value, it is very similar to the forestry biomass, but density is lower. And this is important in the moment to design the installation. And also the ashes, they are around 6%, 5 or 6% is more up if we compare with the forestry biomass, because the forestry is around 1 or 2% the ashes. During the project, okay, you can see 2 photographies. There are the 2 boilers we installed during the project. The first, you can see the red boiler, it's a hazelnut, 500 kilowatts. We have a district heating in Villafranca, in La Girada. It supplies for public equipments, and also Cabas-Villar now, 130 kilowatts boiler, and they eliminate the dependence on gasoil, on fossil fuel. Yeah. Annually, during the project, we pick up the biomass in 300, 400 hectares to supply biomass in these 2 boilers. It depends on the meteorology, on the variety. We can pick up more or less quantity. Okay, here you can see the map of our district heating, and 2 photographies next boiler to the storage. And the results during the last year of the project, we use more than 150 tons a year of biomass. In the district heating, we save gas natural. I don't know how to say in English, and electricity. In Cabas-Villar now, all the diesel has been replaced by this type of biomass. Here in Vilafranca, the municipal water company is now a municipal service company. They can build this type of thermal energy. Now we are working about the extension of this district heating to arrive to the Ricard Fortuny Social and Health Center, and we are working with all vine pruning without forestry biomass, and we are very proud of this project and this value chain. Here you can see some awards. In 2018, the Best Life. We are very proud because it's a practice project. We work together, public and private sector, with the same horizon. We must rethinking the future. In conclusion, we need to be able to base our energy needs with this type of energy source and using the common sense of the circular economy. It's the future. But we are conscious. We have challenge, of course. For example, to achieve more homogeneous biomass without medium branches. The size, it's important because the boiler work good. Now, in these 2 last minutes, I put a video because it's important. You can see our landscape, our boilers, and how we organize in this little video to transport you to the essence of the project. Thank you very much for your attention. We hope you are okay despite this pandemic situation, and thank you. You can see more information in the web of the project.
La terra, la vinya, el raïm, el vi i ara l'energia.
Al Penedès produïm cada any 30.000 tonelades de residu de la vinya. Ara, amb el projecte Vinyes per Calor que impulsa l'Ajuntament de Vilafranca, junt amb Innovi, Covides i Nouvert, intentem que una bona part d'aquest residu es converteixi en un recurs per a fer energia tant per les bodegues com pel sector públic.
A Caves de Vilarnau hi hem deixat de consumir el gasoil com a combustible fòssil. Ara estem consumint la biomassa d'origen agrícola, de la vinya, i això ho hem fet d'una manera fàcil, amb un combustible totalment natural i que ens aporta una potència global d'uns 100.000 kWh. Això ens reportarà una menys emissió de CO2 de 78 tones i a la vegada un estalvi global d'un 16% del global del consum energètic de lo que són la bodega i la cava en si.
Aquest projecte ha tancat el cercle de la vinya, convertint un residu en energia, reduint les emissions i generant beneficis econòmics i socials. Benvingut al futur més sostenible. Uneix-te al projecte Vinyes per Calor.
Good morning, everybody. Warmly welcome from my side. My name is Tihomir Sebestyen, and I want to present today roadmaps from promotion to implementation of small and medium-sized bioenergy projects, especially in rural Romania. From Romania, and I represent the Green Energy Romanian Innovative Biomass Cluster. I am PhD researcher at this cluster since 5 years. What is the Green Energy Cluster? Our cluster has been founded in 2011 with the aim to increase the interest in the production and also in the utilization of biomass resources, residuals, wood waste, which is the most important renewable energy source in Romania. Our cluster is, let's say, social economic cluster that provide the frame of development solution in field of the biomass, and we put emphasis on the ecological, also social innovations. Our members are about 50 companies, like short rotation crops, farmers, biomass fuel producers, logistics, biomass logistics centers, and so on. We have in our cluster also biomass boiler manufacturer and installer companies. So we have in different also digital companies like IT companies, technology providers, but we have in our board universities and research development entities, as well as in regional level or also local level, we involved the public institution, local authorities like mayoralties, town halls, and so on. What are the challenges regarding the biomass utilization, especially in rural areas? As may know, many rural and suburban areas have high biomass potential, but the biomass waste or resources are not considered as value. Therefore, they are not often used or they are inefficiently used. The challenge is to increase the role or the importance of biomass resources by increase the market uptake of bioenergy, and to do so we have to establish a sustainable local supply chains by supporting regional economic development. For that, we have first of all to increase the public awareness regarding to this topic. We have to involve local stakeholders. We have to open eyes, let's say, on this issue. After that, we have to identify the most important or the most relevant barriers why the biomass waste or byproducts are not involved in local energy supply, or how can we solve this issue. For that, of course, we have to establish a collaborative mentality among the local stakeholders. We have to sensibilize the local citizens to accept the new ideas. So we have to engage local stakeholders from the local economic stakeholders like local companies. We have to engage the key decision makers in the community who are shaping the mentality of a certain village or settlement. And later on, if the local key stakeholders are engaged, we can start to plan to create a new model, to create a new approach for the given settlement. And of course, after the plans are ready, we also have to support and go to realize these plans. What are the success methods or approach on implementation of bioenergy projects? And now I give you up to 7 main points or topics what should be took into consideration. First, the framework analysis. So if a micro region, a region, or even a municipality is there, we want to work with them. We have to analyze the actual framework on those territories. We have to assess the available supportive programs and incentives. So the policy framework, what kind of public, let's say, financial support is available. Then we have to assess or evaluate the local potential, how big, how high is the local biomass potential, residues, what kind of biomass streams are available for energy production, and if is there already some existing bioenergy infrastructure, we have to analyze the quality of this infrastructure, if this can ensure the local and the actual energy demand or not, how can we expand this infrastructure, or we have to reconstruct or reshape the given existing facilities or equipment. So we have to also analyze the energy demand, also the geographical proximity of the given energy consumers, like how big are the distances between the given energy potential energy consumers, and also we have to evaluate the consumption behavior, like if they are using thermal energy only in heating season or not. It is a private company who use the energy in the technology, or just for heat their buildings for space heating, or what kind of usage approaches they have. Then we have to identify also the readiness level of local citizens, if they accept this approach, our bioenergy development approach, or not. If they are, let's say, mostly negative, or just they don't care, then we have to raise their awareness. The social economic assessment, therefore, is essential. Even in 2007 or 2010, it was mentioned in many scientific publications how crucial is the social acceptance in a given village or settlement. The second step, let's say, the know-how transfer. If the local bioenergy infrastructure or this model is not established yet, of course they have less information and knowledge on this topic. So therefore we have to increase the bioenergy related information among the local citizens. So we have to present best practices. in the presentation of best practices, we should focus on the most relevant best practices, like the closest ones, like if there is a place with 1 yard, then we have to find best practices about how the people in other places valorize the cuttings from 1 yard, and so on. And if in our process already identified some key stakeholders, we have to invite on different study visits, like to travel over there where are the best practices, to visit, to see, to feel if there is the right solution for their settlement as well. If they touch, they ask, they try the equipment, they see how it works. This is the most convenient engagement, let's say, tool for the stakeholders. So trainings later on. If the stakeholders are engaged, then we have to train them how can we valorize our bioenergy resources or biomass resources on local level. Therefore, we can invite or involve experts, also international experts from other countries, to teach, to train the people who are engaged in this mission. The third point. As I mentioned, stakeholder involvement is essential, because if the local, let's say, stakeholder is engaged and he or she wants to implement such a bioenergy project, then the local inhabitants are more, let's say, supportive. If foreign come to the given place, to the given settlement, and starting to speak about bioenergy project and how nice is this story and we should implement in your settlement, the local inhabitants, because of lack of knowledge and they don't know this person, they are not so committed. So we have to set up a working group focusing on bioenergy valorization and utilization, and they have to formulate strategic goals in realization of bioenergy projects on their local frame. So they can elaborate an open discussion where the strategic bioenergy goals are pointed out. Then we, based on this information, what are already written down, we can organize some open information source like brochures, and we can share this information with local inhabitants to get know, to digest, and to think. So just to think on this. And we also organize information days, like open days, where we can all involve people from different sectors, like entrepreneurs, local forest associations, I don't know, local NGOs, schools, and so on. Or also, I don't know, sport associations. They can also involved because they are well known on local level and they can shape the mentality on local level. So with these tools, we can sensibilize the local stakeholders and citizens on local level. And another important point is to engage also local but regional policymakers, because if they see that there is a bottom-up initiative, they can provide lobby activity, and later on probably they can open a new financial public support measure for such projects. Then the next is if the local citizens agree with the project, the key stakeholders are engaged and actively involved in the planning, then we can start the technical planning. Exactly what is our request, or what we want to see in our municipality. For that, a multi-stakeholder involvement is essential. Of course, we have to involve engineers to calculate the energy demand, the capacity for cover this demand. Then we have to involve the mayoralty. I don't know, the mayor or somebody who are responsible for public infrastructure development. We have to see on which street we want to conduct the pipelines for a district heating system and so on. And we have to identify what are the benefits, of course, but what are the drawbacks regarding to bioenergy projects. Because if we are not discussed and not solved, or we not find a risk management approach, or we not discussed that topics, then later on in the realization of the bioenergy project, real issues will pop up. Then is not enough to only to design a nice building with a bioenergy plan and a district heating system, but we also have to establish a value chain to supply with local or regional biomass fuel or feedstock these bioenergy plants. And again, here we can invite or involve and engage the following stakeholders, like farmers, local farmers. Probably some of them want to establish a new short rotation crops plantation, or just they have significant agriculture byproducts. We can valorize this biomass. Then we can involve like local agriculture NGOs, association, if they have certain, I don't know, arable or pasture land, then the cleaning activity of these areas provide us a certain volume of biomass residuals. Then we can valorize this, or local forest owners or owner associations. They have certain forest areas. They have from forest management activity and harvesting of wood, they have residuals again. Then we can these wood biomass, we can chip and produce wood chips to and it is considered already as biomass fuel for the bioenergy plant. And of course, we have to be sure that this approach is also economically feasible, and also from technical point of view. The fifth point is to construct a financial and business model, how we will operate these bioenergy plants. As I mentioned before, the evaluation of financing option is essential, because if there is a nice engagement on local level, we are sure that is technically feasible, but we have no money for invest or to realize this investment, our project will fail. So we have to identify a new public funding scheme or subsidy. But at least in Romania, I know that there are several possibilities to submit a bioenergy project, even as public institution, or even if I am a mayoralty and I want to submit a bioenergy district heating system for local public institutions to heat the public buildings, there are some open calls permanently. And we know the EU policy that more and more public funding will be available for such projects. And in order to operate this plant, we have to map how it will operate. Like in my examples, I use the canvas model, the business canvas model. Probably you know this, or you can check it, Google it. And then we can exactly identify what are the relationships between different stakeholders, what I need from which stakeholders, from which partner, what should do, and so on. So it's a really nice model, this canvas model. And if we identify the financial supporting call or something, then we can prepare the documentation and submit this project. And as I mentioned before, the submission of this project, the big story getting more serious. So therefore, we have to see local committed stakeholders, and in our approach, we all the time ask them to sign a commitment letter, because if they sign it, they feel that they are part of this bioenergy project, and later on, if they are if they already signed such a commitment letter, their drawback is let's say we can avoid. What is the next? The implementation. This is the next step. Let's say we should set up or establish a project management board who are the responsible for the implementation. I'm saying this for management, so they have to control, to monitor, and to check if the given bioenergy project will be implemented, realized according to our plans. So for that, clear responsibilities, tasks, and deadlines should be clear. Mobilization of suppliers is essential because in construction, at least in Eastern Europe, we have many delays. So we really have to follow this process and to check the suppliers or subcontractors or technology providers. And if the project is ready to start, then we have in first phase test the entire infrastructure. Because in many cases, even if the construction plan was respected, but some technical issue come up, but just after the test runnings. So we have to solve these small or minor issues. The last point in our success method is the dissemination and upscaling. You will see later on, I presented with pictures that we implemented a nice project, and in order to increase on national level and to multiply such a bioenergy project, we have to invite other stakeholders from other municipalities and again to show them and to convince them that here you can do it, you can realize such projects even in your village or in your settlement. So we have to encourage them. And of course, if they are ready or they are open to multiply such project, then we have to provide support, technical support for. What are the results? In our green energy innovative biomass clusters, you will see on our map, we realized over 100, about 80 such small and medium-sized projects. But we also along the bioenergy projects and the hardware part of the project, we also sensibilized and established sustainable energy communities who are supporting the operation of such plants, and they ensure the long-term sustainability for this bioenergy project, which is essential for long operational lifetime. And of course, by these implementation plans, we increased awareness in different places among the citizens, improved energy management and higher energy efficiency we achieved, increased the usage of biomass residues, and also we established new bioenergy capacities, and we are, as I mentioned, focusing mostly on rural regions. And with this new technology innovation, we also strengthened local and regional economy. Here the map of Romania, and you see the local administrative units, and we realized our project mostly in center development region, which is highlighted like this. Overall, our total implemented capacity is over 25 megawatt capacity already, with over 180 small and medium projects. Some of these projects. One, Number one is a local supply chain using agrobiomass to produce thermal energy at Enache Mills and Bakery. So you know the bakery has a significant thermal energy demand, and this project is realized in eastern part of Romania, about 10 kilometers for the from Moldavia Republic. So it is very close to the border. And in this case, the owner of Enache Mills and Bakery involved the local grain producer farmers, and they provide straw balls, and they produce pellets out of it, briquettes. They also want part of these biomass pellets and briquettes. They sell on the domestic market, but a significant part of this biomass fuel they valorize on local level at the bakery. Next project is located close to Bucharest, capital of Romania. This is a chicken farm, Avicol Prod private company, and they use sunflower husks. Close to this chicken farm is located a sunflower oil producer company, and they have a large volume of sunflower husk. So this chicken farm can valorize the biomass fuel, and the transport costs are not high, so it is really feasible. And they already installed 150 kilowatt boilers. Here you see the silos for sunflower seed husks. They have an automatized feeding system for these boilers. And the boilers are installed in a container, so the container can be moved if it is needed. Okay, the next example is Dalia Flowers company. It is located not far from our office. It is exactly in middle of Romania, in a mountain region, and they valorize the solid biomass residues from pasture cleaning, but also some local farmers have energy willow plantations. And this Dalia Flowers company installed 7 boilers with total capacity of 5 megawatt nominal capacity, and the company is heating 2.5 hectare greenhouses. So again, this is a local engagement and collaborative approach. How can a greenhouse company engage local farmers and pasture cleaner entities, and the local biomass value chain has been set up already in from 2010. Yes, and this facility is already 10 years old. This is again a smaller facility at a Guesthouse in Bicfalau village, and it is a nice example because the guest house owning 3-hectare energy willow plantation, and with these 3-hectare plantation can supply its own energy supply. They installed a 100 kilowatt nominal capacity biomass boiler, and here you can see the energy willow plantation. They cut it in each second year, like half of the plantation in this year and half of the plantation in next year. And here you see the energy willow chips, and here is the feeding system, and through this wall coming and the energy willow chips is fed into the burning chamber of the boiler. The next example is located in Locodeni. It's another smaller village. In this case, I want to highlight that bioenergy project is involving also social aspects, because these people are with smaller handicaps, and they are happy, and they are engaged to protect the environment and to harvest and collect the wood residues like branches and so on hilly region, and they provide for 3 public buildings the biomass fuel. And from one hand, this model is very special. From one hand, they are paid because they are cleaning the mountain pasture lands. On the other hand, they are paid because they sell the biomass fuel for public institutes on local level. So they have 2, let's say, financial income with one activity. Okay, the next one is bakeries and meat factories, also in rural Romania. You can see here is a small biomass deposit for a local bakery, which switched from fossil energy from natural gas based boilers to biomass based boilers, I think in 2015. And down here you can see a meat factory with 500 kilowatt biomass boiler, and automatized in containers are the biomass fuel, and here is behind the containers the biomass boiler house. It is constructed in containers, so the installation of the entire let's say facility was about 2-3 days. And again, here is a bigger biomass deposit center with up to 5,000 cubic meter biomass deposit capacity. I want to highlight here how essential is the personalized technological solution. In each project, you have seen that there are different technology realized or used. So it is crucial to plan according to the local and personal characteristics according to the characteristics of the buildings or the demand. And longer sustainable operation is ensured by these well-planned and personalized technologicals. And now I want to highlight in 1-2 minutes our national initiative, One Village, 1 megawatt. This is about our approach is to say that in each village we have enough biomass residuals, waste and biomass feedstock to install at least 1 megawatt capacity to ensure in first phase the public buildings with bioenergy.
Biomasa, mai ales, în comunitățile noastre poate fi sursă de căldură. Paiele, cocenii de porumb, crengile sau alte produse secundare fără valoare sau cu valoare redusă pot fi de fapt extrem de valoroase. Clusterul inovativ al biomasei Green Energy a fost înființat în 2011. Scopul clusterului este valorificarea biomasei pe bază de lemn pentru a produce energie termică în mediul rural și urban, implicând activ comunitatea locală. Clusterul a inițiat programul Un sat, 1 megawatt, dorind să arate comunităților valoarea deșeurilor lemnoase provenite din curățarea spațiilor verzi publice, a pășunilor, livezilor, malurilor, râurilor, brazilor de Crăciun, care altfel ar fi aruncate, arse. Prin dezvoltarea unui lanț valoric local folosind aceste resurse lemnoase, se pot aduce beneficii ridicate comunităților locale cu costuri reduse. În toate comunitățile rurale, în primul rând clădirile publice și entitățile economice pot fi încălzite cu cazane de biomasă automatizate și cu eficiență energetică ridicată, dacă localnicii alături de colaboratorii clusterului fac front comun pentru o dezvoltare sustenabilă. Aceste dezvoltări se fac prin inovare socială, creând locuri de muncă la nivel local, în special pentru grupurile vulnerabile din comunitate. Clusterul este o asociere liberă bazată pe cooperare, având ca membri academii, instituții de cercetare și inovare, întreprinderi, agenții de dezvoltare, instituții publice locale și regionale. În ultimul deceniu, membrii clusterului au instalat și pus în funcțiune mai mult de 180 de centrale termice pe bază de biomasă, mici și mijlocii, în diferite zone ale țării. Echipa de management a clusterului a participat la mai multe proiecte de cercetare, dezvoltare și inovare, Horizon 2020, în proiecte finanțate de COSME, Interreg Danube, în granturi norvegiene, reprezentând țara noastră în colaborări profesionale recunoscute la nivel internațional. Toate aceste activități ale clusterului contribuie la implementarea obiectivelor de dezvoltare durabilă pentru un mediu mai curat, pentru energie la prețuri accesibile și pentru formarea comunităților sustenabile bazate pe energie, cu accent mai ales pe punctele 4, 7, 9, 11, 17.
And Ghelinta commune is the first bioenergy village in Romania. Here is already installed about 2 megawatt biomass boiler capacity in public buildings like in school, in mayoralty, local culture center and local. Here is another nice example on micro scale biomass based district heating system, and you can see on the map that the boiler house is located like here, you see here, and from this biomass boiler is supplied up to 10 private households. I think this is all what I wanted to share with you, and I am ready to answer on your questions. Thank you very much.